Bertrand Russell was a philosopher who authored more than 40 books and was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1950. Among his many works, In Praise of Idleness stands out. In this book, Russell challenges the social convention that hard work is inherently virtuous, arguing instead that leisure is essential for genuine freedom and self-realization. We live in a society that values rationality and dismisses anything unproductive as worthless. Diligence is, of course, seen as inherently good. However, when so-called rational thinking is taken to extremes, we begin to view our lives solely through the lens of productivity and efficiency. If this mindset persists, we risk evaluating people based on their income or output rather than their happiness. As the translator of this book notes in the preface, watch television, and you'll hear, "We've come this far without stopping. We can't stop now." But perhaps now is exactly the time to stop and reflect. What are we rushing towards? After reflection, there will still be time to run. The Industrial Revolution and the rise of rational thinking have undoubtedly made our lives more convenient, but they should not be worshipped. Bertrand Russell's In Praise of Idleness poses vital questions to those of us living in today's hyper-competitive, capitalist societies. Here, I share excerpts from this thought-provoking book. Preface. This book contains essays that examine various social issues. Through these writings, I aim to emphasize that excess, whether in thought or action, is dangerous. Rather than judging the value of knowledge solely by its immediate practicality, I argue for fostering broad-minded thinking habits. The world suffers from intolerance, narrow-mindedness, and the belief that vigorous action, even if misdirected, is inherently admirable. This belief unites the essays in this collection. What our complex modern society requires is a mindset that constantly questions and a free spirit capable of considering all perspectives with calm reflection. In Praise of Idleness. Like most of my generation, I grew up hearing the adage, "Satan finds some mischief for idle hands to do." As a particularly upright child, I believed this wholeheartedly, and to this day, my conscience compels me to work diligently. Yet, while my conscience governs my actions, my convictions have undergone a revolution over time. I believe that the world suffers from too much work and that the belief in the virtue of labor has caused tremendous harm. Therefore, the sermon that modern industrial societies need is entirely different from the one we've always heard. Since the dawn of civilization up to the Industrial Revolution, people generally could produce only enough to support themselves and their families, despite working tirelessly. Even when their wives worked just as hard, and their children contributed as soon as they were old enough. Any surplus beyond the bare necessities went to warriors or priests. This system persisted for so long and ended so recently that it left a deep imprint on people's minds and views. Much of what we take for granted about the desirability of work stems from this outdated system. And thus, these views are no longer suitable for the modern world. Modern technology has made it possible for leisure to become a right enjoyed by all, not just a privilege of the elite. The morality of work is the morality of slaves, and modern society has no need for slavery. Leisure is essential to civilization. In the past, the labor of the many was necessary for the leisure of the few. But the value of this labor lay not in the work itself, but in the leisure it afforded. Today, technological advances allow us to distribute leisure fairly without harming civilization. The wise use of leisure is made possible by civilization and education. Without a significant amount of leisure, people are cut off from many of life's finest experiences. There is no longer any reason why so many should endure this deprivation. In the past, there was a tolerance for idle enjoyment. However, the worship of efficiency has erased this tolerance. Modern individuals believe every activity must serve some other purpose. They do not work simply for the sake of working. Serious-minded people criticize habits like going to the movies, claiming such pastimes lead young people astray. Yet, they praise the labor involved in making movies because it is work and generates income. In blunt terms, earning money is seen as virtuous, while spending it is seen as sinful. Given that earning and spending are two sides of the same coin, this is contradictory. It would be like saying a key is good, but a keyhole is bad. We think too much about production and too little about consumption. As a result, we place little importance on the enjoyment of pleasure or simple happiness. And we fail to judge production based on the joy it brings to consumers. Reducing working hours doesn't mean the extra time should be spent on trivial pursuits. Rather, people should be free to use their time as they see fit. Education should aim to provide the discernment necessary to make wise use of leisure. Modern amusements have become largely passive. Watching movies, attending football matches, listening to the radio. This passivity results from all active energy being drained by work. With more leisure, people could rediscover the pleasures that come from active engagement, leading to happier, more fulfilling lives. Instead of suffering from nervous exhaustion, fatigue, and indigestion, they could enjoy leisure without depleting their vitality. Thus, people would no longer seek only passive, mindless entertainment. Because these activities are unrelated to their livelihoods, creativity would flourish without being constrained by established standards. Ordinary men and women, given the chance to lead happy lives, would become kinder, less prone to bothering each other, and less suspicious. Of all moral qualities, good nature is the most essential for the world, and it arises not from struggle, but from comfort and security. Modern methods of production have made it possible for everyone to live comfortably and safely. Yet, we have chosen a system that subjects some to overwork and others to poverty. We continue to labor as tirelessly as we did before the advent of machinery. In this, we have been foolish. But there is no reason to perpetuate this folly indefinitely. Useless and useful knowledge. Francis Bacon famously declared, "Knowledge is power." Today, knowledge is regarded less as something valuable in itself, or as a means of cultivating a broad and humane outlook, and more as a tool for professional competence. Educational institutions focus on teaching skills and instilling loyalty, contributing to practical ends that satisfy the state. We are more conscious of others than in the past, believing that benefiting them is a virtue. We shun those who idly enjoy life, no matter how noble their pleasures. Everyone must contribute to some cause, leaving us with no mental leisure. We have no room to acquire knowledge unless it serves a purpose we deem important. Yet, pursuing only knowledge with immediate practical application, like science or economics, can be dangerous. There are many forms of knowledge with indirect usefulness that do not directly contribute to technical efficiency. I believe that encouraging such knowledge could alleviate some of the worst traits of the modern world, and reduce the relentless pursuit of professional competence. Play is not just for children. Adults also need time for activities pursued for no other purpose than present enjoyment. One form of such play is acquiring useless knowledge. While it may not immediately benefit society or be practical, it helps expand an individual's world. Broadening one's perspective cultivates the mind. This mental development provides alternative interests beyond mistreating one's neighbors or asserting dominance. Ignorant individuals often seek to fulfill ambitions through physical superiority or other barbaric means. In contrast, intellectual cultivation offers less harmful forms of power and more respectable avenues for self-esteem. Perhaps the greatest benefit of useless knowledge is fostering a habit of reflection. The world is full of hasty actions and impulsive behaviors that wise people would advise against. The best actions stem not from reckless, romantic impulses, but from a profound understanding of the universe and human destiny. A habit of finding joy in thought rather than action guards against foolishness, curbs excessive power worship, and offers a shield against unhappiness and worry. Useless knowledge not only makes unpleasant tasks less burdensome but also enhances the enjoyment of pleasurable ones. I enjoy peaches and apricots more knowing they were first cultivated in China during an early dynasty, introduced to India by Chinese hostages under King Kanishka, then spread to Persia and finally reached the Roman Empire in the 1st century. The word apricot, derived from the Latin for precocious, was mistakenly prefixed with an A. Knowing these facts makes the fruit taste even sweeter. Today's world is filled with angry, self-centered groups incapable of seeing life in its entirety. They would rather destroy civilization than make any concessions. No amount of scientific or technical knowledge can serve as an antidote to this narrow-mindedness. What is needed is not specific information but a broad understanding of life's purpose from a holistic viewpoint. This includes art, history, encounters with heroic lives, and the awareness that, on a cosmic scale, humanity is an insignificant A. I hope this video gives you kind of inspiration. This video was made from In Praise of Idleness, the essay written by Bertrand Russell. Thank you for watching. I wish you peace today.